Hi you guys, today I am going to show you how to put together the rocket ship craft and the superhero rocket ship superhero have a super day card. Super fun. Alright, so here we go. Alright, so this is what we have in your little packet here. So when you open this on up, these are all the little things you're going to see in here. Okay, plus your piece of paper. Alright, so first I'm going to show you how to make the rocket ship. Okay, so you have two pieces of paper here. So the very first thing we're going to do is I'm going to put the two pieces together. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to kind of do one of these kinds of shapes. Kind of like a half of a football shape, let's call it. Alright, then I'm going to use I'm going to use the side of this to kind of give me a guide so that I can make sure that my rocket ship is going to be even, okay? Because otherwise, if you don't, you're going to end up with a funky looking rocket ship. I think that is about as close as I want to get. I'm actually going to make this a little bit wider than I made my other one. So I want to show you, you can make different kinds of rocket ships. So I'm going to use this pen here to be my little guide. Oh, I know this pen is not working very well, but it's actually kind of the point. Okay. Alright, so once you have your two shapes, save your scraps because you're going to need those. Okay. Alright, so now you have your two pieces here. What you're going to do is you're going to cut up the center of one, and then you're going to cut down the center of the other. Okay, from the top down. Alright. Now, I'm sure you've all seen this where you do this and you slide this in. And you're like, oh, that's so easy, so easy. Okay, maybe, perhaps. Except that usually it doesn't want to stay. And that's the part that usually absolutely drives me crazy. And I need to cut this just a little bit farther here. Alright, so once you have that in there. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to fold this in half here. I'm going to fold this in half. And you actually might want to do that ahead of time to make sure you get your line straight in the middle. Okay, so now the part about this is that usually it doesn't want to stand up on its own. Actually, it is surprisingly going to stand up here. But what I'm going to do is one of my little pieces here, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to cut this in half. Okay, and this little piece here I'm going to cut in half. And this little piece here I'm going to cut in half. So these little straight pieces here, when I fold these in half, it's going to let me fold this in half. Come on. I might have to fold this in half again. Basically what you need to create are two of these, all right, where they're folded in half, these little tab pieces here. They don't need to be very big, but you're actually going to be gluing them in place here to keep these at 90-degree angles, like so. Okay, that's where these are going to glue down, is right here. All right, so we're going to use my glue, and we're going to go ahead and do that. Here we go. And I'm using the Nuvo Deluxe adhesive, but you can probably use any glue you have laying around at home, to be perfectly honest. This cardstock is a nice solar white cardstock is what it's called, so you can do like painting and stuff on there when you're done, and it should hold up quite nicely. Alright. And you can do them on every corner if you would like, but I'm not doing them on every corner. I'm just going to do two on each end of my rocket ship. Okay. Right, so we have those two there. And I'm going to cut this in half again. Two more of my little folded tabs here, and I'm going to do the other side. And as you're kind of building this, you'll kind of realize, like, oh yeah, this piece should really go here because it's holding my rocket ship together. And you'll realize what pieces really need to be kind of glued and held in place. So right here at the middle, like I said, is where we're doing this. We're putting this tab. See how these are kind of flailing here? We're sticking this down like so, and then this is right up against it, and that's holding that at that 90-degree angle shape, okay? And then I'm gonna do that down here, probably at this spot right here. Okay. All right. Okay, so that's probably the hardest part of the whole rocket ship, is just getting that base in. Okay, so once you have that part done, now it's the fun part. All right, so now we get to build, I'm going to refer to as like the boosters, or I don't know, we're going to call them like the wings and all this kind of fun kind of goodies here. So I'm going to cut these at a So I'm going to fold my piece of paper in half here, these like leftover scraps, and I'm going to start building like some little wings and fins and miscellaneous things. Like, I don't even know what to call all these different things. I know those people watching are like, oh my gosh, Ellie, they're called blah, 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 this. I have no idea. Okay. So once you have some of these kind of triangle shapes, whoops, these kinds of guys, you're going to go ahead and just go start gluing those on. And at this point, like I said, this is kind of a fun kids craft, but you know, whoever wants to do it sounds great. If you're having fun, that's awesome. But this is a really great opportunity to kind of build like some really cool kind of rocket ships. And you can kind of decide like, oh, I want to build this, or I want to build this. You guys can talk about different kinds of rockets, or look up rockets online and see some different fun ones out there. And you could like make a rocket that kind of replicates maybe one of your favorite ones. So lots of cool ideas. Now you really only need them on two sides, but I'm going to do them on the other two sides as well, because I want my rocket to kind of, you know, stand up nicely. And then you can go in and you can start using markers and start coloring. Or if you don't want to use markers, you don't have to. You can use, you know, colored pencils or other things, other coloring paints, other coloring apparatuses you got laying around. I'm going to use my Tombow markers for this purpose. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go in with my reds and my gray and my blue, because these are the colors I want to use. Now for my windows, what's cool about this project is that your rocket folds flat, so you can actually draw your windows in here, and you can go in and do that. And so what's cool about this is that you can go in and you can draw stuff. Like my windows, for example, I can color those in. And then I can use my other markers and kind of outline my windows. Whoops. Just a little bit on the wobbly side. I'm back and fix those. Alright, so I've got my cool little windows, which look awesome. And then you can go in with your red markers and you can go and outline your edges and stuff like that. Suddenly, you have a rocket ship coming to life. Super fun. So of course you could do all four sides. Now to do the flames, so you want to make sure not to use up all your extra leftover pieces decorating your rocket, that you don't have enough pieces left over for flames. So flames, really easy to do. You're going to kind of cut kind of a wiggly line like this, wiggly line, and then you're just going to match up the wiggles until they get kind of smaller and smaller and smaller, and then they fade off into nothing like this. Okay. All right, so you're going to do a bunch of those. And then once you've done several and you're feeling good about how many you've created, I'm not going to cut out too many of these, but I'll cut out a few. Okay. Okay, then you're actually, down here at the bottom here, you're actually going to go ahead along this bottom red line here, this is where you're going to glue your fire, and you can do it on all your sides. It doesn't have to be just all on one side. In fact, I encourage you to do it on lots of different sides. And you're going to glue your fire straight down. Okay, and it's going to cover up that red line. All right, now we're not putting it on the folds. You're either putting it on the left or right side of the folds. Okay, now the folds, as I'm talking about, is the middle fold right there. So left or right side of the fold only. And you can take this time also to go in and color. You can take your time and color the, I wanted to color these fire colored, but to get fire color, of course, you really do need yellow, red, and orange. So I always start with my lightest color. I'm going to go with the yellow first. And I'm kind of going in the direction of the movement of the paper, which is this direction, and not back and forth like this. Okay, I'm going up and down. That way, if there's lines being shown from the marker, that it's going to look right, not look like it's out of place. And I'm going to do the back side of my flames too, because of course fire's two-sided, not one-sided. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to go in with a little bit of orange. More towards the bottom here. I don't know if it's supposed to be the opposite, but this is how I'm doing my flames. Okay. Like so. And then finally at the very tip I'm going to do some red. Alright, and at this point, your flames at the top where you've glued them to your actual rocket ship are probably dry. And so what you're going to do here to finish this off is I drew red here to kind of put the edge of your rocket down. Okay, so I drew that line again to kind of break that off. So your flames should not be going above that red line. If they are, you only need to trim them. Then you're going to hold that in place and you're going to bend these up. And the reason why is because, of course, your rocket ship needs to launch. So ready and lift off. There we go. That makes sense, right? I thought so too. Okay, so then that way it actually stays sitting when it's not in use. Or, of course, you can always flatten it and put it away. Okay, now, what's cool about this project is that you can have large rocket or small rocket, which is pretty cool. But you only got 2 pieces of paper, but of course you can play with your own paper and kind of play with that kind of concept and have fun with that. All right, now we're going to go into the second part of the craft, and that is the little super card. All right, so I've stamped a sentiment that says, have a super day. And what you're going to do is you're going to go in and you're just going to make a kapow kind of symbol, which is this kind of a symbol where you cut the little triangles of paper away to kind of reveal these kind of triangles, these kinds of things. And in order to get that shape the best, you want to kind of the triangle direction needs to kind of all be kind of aiming towards the focal point. Otherwise, it's going to be kind of wonky. So to do that, you always want to cut in from the corners, so you kind of get a triangle from the corner, like this here, a triangle from the corner. And then you can get at least 2, if not sometimes 3 or 4 on your sides, the little triangles kind of in between. And you can always go back and kind of adjust it a little bit if needed. And we got 4 on that side. 1, 2, 3, 4. That turned out pretty cool. So you just want to make sure you're not cutting into your word. And then on the top here, on the left side, we're going to put the words here that say cool, bam, wow, with the little superheroes. And then I did my ribbon down the middle. Whoops. Now, I highly recommend double-sided tape. Hopefully you have a little bit of double-sided tape laying around, or hot glue to hold your ribbon in place. You're just going to stretch that across so it's nice and straight, like so. And then I'm going to use my scissors and trim that down. Oh, come on. There we go. All right. Now I'm going to use my, make sure to include Pop Dots in your kit. I'm going to add some Pop Dots here. I think I'm going to add 2. So Pop Dot just is a little bit of foam that has adhesive on 2 sides. So it makes it so there's a little bit of dimension. So I'll make sure to put 2 little Pop Dots in your little kits. All right, and that is going to go on the front. Bam! Have a super day. And you may find exactly what I had to do is that you may have to trim these in order for them to fit on the front of your card. And that's okay. Sometimes that has to happen. There we go. Much better. Sorry, that was awkward. All right, and the last little thing that's in there is you got these little, gave you an extra little piece of paper, so maybe if you wanted to cut out some of these little superheroes, you could do that maybe for your spaceship, which would be super fun, or maybe to put on the inside of your card, which might also be kind of cute. I'm not going to cut them out right now, but you're welcome to do that if you wanted. And then I also included some star-shaped little confetti, or star-shaped glitter as I like to call it. And so to put that down, what I'm going to do is I just do little dots of glue, and I'm talking like hardly any glue, like tiny, 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 okay? And then I kind of lick my finger a little bit to pick up my individual stars, and I place them on the little tiny dots of glue. And that is really the best way to get little individual stars to glue down. Oop, I glued 2 on that one, but that's okay. Aha, I was able to remove it. All right, and now I'm going to put a couple on my orange as well. I obviously gave you guys way more stars than you're going to need for this project, but I hope that you use them in something else. Please use them in something else. They're so much fun. I love the tiny little stars. All right, and there we have it. Have a super day. All right, so those are the crafts for the I'm calling them rocket ship crafts, but we know that it's kind of a superhero and a rocket kind of craft. All right, hope you had fun. Thanks for coming.